Blog Talk Radio.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Franchise Interviews, where we're asking the franchipreneur who owns one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott, with my co-host, Don Johnson, and if you've ever dreamed of owning your own business, then you've come to the right place. We have a great show this morning. We're meeting with John Rando, Lisa Savage, and Marcy Donnelly of Jon'Ric International Franchise Opportunity. And Jon'Ric International is the pioneer of upscale franchise specialty spas. And that's coming up in segment 2 of Franchise Interviews. So stick around because we got a great show.
Are you one of those special people who are willing to go after your dreams and goals? Are you ready to fulfill that dream of owning your own business with the security of a proven brand? The opportunity to take control of your future and own a Rita's Italian Ice franchise is within your reach.
Rita's is seeking success-oriented individuals who are ready to make a change in their life, and Rita's offers unparalleled training and support to assure your success. And did you know the frozen treat industry is a recession-proof industry, and there are Rita's in 23 states currently with 540 stores open. Rita's Italian Ice has been around for 25 years and is listed as a top-performing franchise by the Wall Street Journal.
Now here's the really good part. Rita's Italian Ice is a unique and amazing taste treat. It's smoother than a snow cone, and it combines ice with real fresh fruit. The real fruit adds dramatically to the taste, and it comes in over 40 flavors. The ice and fruit are mixed on site and made fresh daily, and it is delicious.
You'll want to know more about this exciting and successful franchise opportunity. Go to www.ownaritas.com and get all your questions answered. That's www.ownaritas.com to take control of your dreams and future today. You don't want to wait any longer to be a part of this adventure. www.ownaritas.com. Franchise Interviews. For over 2 years now, Franchise Interviews has been giving you an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship.
Through our website, franchiseinterviews.com, where you can hear and read interviews as well as get tips from some of the most successful sources in franchising.
And our weekly franchise radio show, where each week you get to hear a new interview with franchisors, franchisees, franchise authors, experts, and attorneys.
And our free franchise newsletter, which is a must-read for anyone looking to buy a franchise.
And don't forget to listen to our podcast, Great Quotes in Franchising. For more information, go to franchiseinterviews.com or call us at 610-905-2919.
That's 610-905-2919.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Franchise Interviews, where we're asking the franchipreneur who owns one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott, with my co-host, Don Johnson, and if you've ever dreamed of owning your own business, then you've come to the right place. How you doing today, Don? Welcome back.
Same to you, Marty. Morning. How's it going?
Good. It's going well. I guess you can call this our 4th of July show, right?
Yeah, the holiday just a couple days away.
Amazing. It's here already, and hopefully we get some nice weather. I know we've been getting hit pretty hard on the East Coast with lots of rain, so.
Yeah, be nice to have a nice weekend.
Absolutely. Our last show, Don, we met with a very interesting concept. We met with Dean Hands of the Good Feet franchise opportunity, and this was definitely something different for our archives, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I didn't realize how many people around the country have foot problems and issues, but I guess it's a big-time problem, which is why Good Feet is having success. And it's a nice, simple business, and
right.
I mean, obviously, I see why they can franchise the concept. It's easily franchisable.
This was a good point. He's really emphasizing that it's really a business in a box, wasn't it? I mean, there wasn't much that you need. I think Dean went as far as saying that all you need is like a box with a vanilla shell, and some small retail space. I mean, it really is that simple. I mean, when you talk about concepts being franchisable, I mean, this is definitely one because it's so simple. You don't even need a lot of employees, do you? I think he was mentioning you can run this franchise with like one or two employees.
Right.
Yeah,
and they bring up some good points here. I mean, I guess a lot of people have types of jobs where of course, they're on their feet a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So many people play sports around the country, and
that's true.
There could be so many potential injuries.
Yeah.
Or just people being overweight I mean, there's so many different ways on how people can have some problems with their feet.
Yeah.
And then you need a specialist. You need special types of product to help that.
Yeah, I didn't realize, when you're mentioning, he said 90% of Americans at some time in their life will have problems with their feet. I know your feet were hurting last week, weren't they? My dad, typically has problems with his feet, and they got a great sponsor for their franchise too, don't they? Emmett Smith, who Dean promised he'll bring back next time we have him on the show, so that'll be pretty interesting. And
did he really promise?
I think he did, yeah. I kind of. And
if he says he didn't, it's in the archive show. It's all.
Exactly. Hopefully, Emmett is still, and I'm sure he will be the sponsor. He was on that show Dancing with the Stars. I know my parents are big fans of, and I guess he complained a lot that his feet were hurting. So it seemed like a perfect match for him coming together with good feet. So. So just very interesting concept. I'd love to have them back in the near future. There's still a young franchise. I think they started franchising, I don't know if you remember, it was like in 2004 or something like that, but still a new concept. He's really, one more thing I just wanted to say is he's really the American dream. I mean, his background, if for our listeners who missed the show, is 17 years in radio, and he got into this thing, and I think he's done very, very well with this franchise, financially, So again, it's not all about the money and things like that, and they're also providing a good service. But it sounds like he definitely has achieved the American dream.
He's in radio a long time. Who knows? Maybe that's our future. Feet,
Exactly. You never know. So so great job, Dean. We'll have him back again in the future. And so what do we got going on today, Don?
Well, today we're meeting with John Rando, founder, CEO of Jon'Ric International.
That's right.
I'm very excited to have him on. I know John from financing, and we're excited because we're going to be having on a franchisee and a couple people associated with the franchise. So it should be very interesting, very informative. We'll find out everything about this franchise and what they're doing.
Yeah, I was saying last time we had 5 people on the show at the same time was 2.5 years ago with PB Loco. Could you imagine that? That was our very first show, and so that's exciting. I'm looking forward to having all of them on the show at the same time. Next week, I don't know if you know this, we have a franchise called Par Masters Golf Training Center's franchise opportunity. And here's a little description. It says, love golf, make it your business. If you have an entrepreneurial spirit and a passion for golf, you've come to the right place. Presenting Par Masters Golf Training Center is the world's first year-round indoor golf training center franchise that literally guarantees results. For those who dream of getting into the golf business, this is a perfect opportunity. That was by Forbes magazine. It's pretty interesting, isn't it? I mean,
that sounds great.
Had on this show before, so I'm looking forward to that. I don't play golf. I don't think you don't play golf either, do you?
Yeah, no, you and I are not golf players, but
but
it's
we
such
know
a popular sport nationwide. Yeah, all of our, I mean, I have friends, I have in-laws who play golf. It's very popular.
Yeah, so that should be interesting. I think there's going to be a lot of people out there that are going to love to listen to this show, so pretty interesting. And as always, I know you said you were staying up late last night till about 2 o'clock looking through the newspapers and magazines and trade journals on franchising. Anything happening?
Yeah, 2:30, yeah. This is South Florida Business Journal, Marty. Former SunTrust executive finds happiness in franchising by Christian Conti.
Mm-hmm.
This article is interesting because it's kind of typical of what a lot of people, I think, are going through nationwide. It says, for Debbie McCullough, getting laid off from SunTrust Banks was a blessing in disguise. A month after getting her pink slip, in October 2007, she bought the franchising rights for Expense Reduction Analyst, a company that specializes in lowering businesses' non-core expenses on a contingency fee. Now she serves clients in her North Florida and Alabama territories and still has time to drop off her 6-year-old son at school every day and participate in classroom activities. I thought I would live and die by corporate America, McCullough says. I've never been happier. I like just being responsible for me now. For most of her 25-year career in human resources, she worked for large companies, including more than 7 years as a human resource programs manager for Atlanta-based SunTrust. She was one of 2,400 people laid off from SunTrust in 2007 and 2008 as part of a campaign to overhaul the bank and reduce costs.
Wow, we've seen this story before, haven't we?
Yeah.
It's just interesting. It's one of the things I love about segment one is, and how many people in corporate America have done very well in franchising, Don. It seems like again, it's not for everybody, but it seems like there is a match there, It's not being a total entrepreneur with like reinventing the wheel and being innovative and things like that. It's being able to follow a system, and it sounds like this woman was able to do that. So that's fantastic.
She wasn't completely surprised to hear the news about the layoffs, as talks about cutbacks have been swirling around for months. She was taken aback by the extent of them. Her franchise, based out of her home in St. Johns County, is one of the company's 300 franchises in the U.S. and 850 worldwide. It's a franchise we should look to have on the show.
Wow, that's interesting. I'd love to, get her on the show as well. Just hearing those stories, very inspirational.
Yeah. Her decision to buy a franchise is similar to that of many laid-off employees all over the country, according to Alyssa Harrison, a spokeswoman for the trade group International Franchise Association. Harrison said more people tend to buy franchises during economic downturns. From the last downturn in 2001 to 2005, the most recent data available, franchising grew 40% to $881 billion in the U.S. An estimated 35% to 40% of new franchisees have been laid off or otherwise displaced from a job.
Wow, we got to put that somewhere on our websites. I didn't know that, and once again, I've learned something. I don't recall seeing that statistic.
That's anywhere. A huge number. 35 to 40% of new franchisees were laid off.
That's incredible.
But the severity of the current recession is expected to take its toll on the industry. In 2009, the IFA predicts a 1.2% decline in franchising. We've said that stat before.
Mm-hmm.
It would be the first decline in the industry since record-keeping began.
Wow.
And basically a lot of it is because of difficulty with financing, of course, and I know that firsthand. McCullough received a 4-month severance package when she was laid off, but she discovered she didn't have to use it to help pay the $55,000 fee to start the business. Instead, she rolled over her money in her 401 retirement from her former employee to invest in her business. It's a popular program. A lot of people do. We help coordinate that.
Right.
People can roll over their retirement. There's a lot less fees and taxes and so forth. And it goes over some franchising facts here, Marty. Over 909,000 franchise establishments make up 3.3% of all U.S. businesses. Looks like that number's gone up a little bit.
Wow. 11
million jobs at franchises make up 8.1% of all private sector jobs.
Wow.
35 to 40%, we just talked about that, are people laid off. Mm-hmm. And from 2001 to 2005, the franchising sector grew at a faster pace than many other sectors in the U.S. economy.
Yeah, I think we've seen that one, yeah. But those are great stats. I mean, it just shows you, the power of franchising, even especially in the times of a recession. Right. Just, it really is quite amazing.
And here's an article from our friends at Franchise Times Magazine. Shrinking stores, franchises keep expanding by going small, by Beth Matson-Teague. This is interesting and ties into the economy as well. In the face of slowing expansion and economic concerns, franchises have been introducing smaller unit sizes to improve flexibility, lower overhead, and give prospects more options. Franchise groups are finding creative ways to downsize store prototypes. The smaller locations have the dual advantage of slashing overhead in a tough market and creating a more flexible model to entice franchise expansion.
Wow.
Operating leaner locations can make a big difference on a franchisee's bottom line. Reducing the store size by even a few hundred square feet can translate into tens of thousands of dollars in savings each year. By trimming the size of a retail or restaurant location requires a delicate balancing act. Franchisees want to make efficient use of their real estate without impeding key business functions or hurting customer service. Depending on the location, where you can really cut down on spaces by reducing the inside seating, says Stu Stoltz, COO of New York-based True Foods. For example, True Foods' Wall Street Deli brand can significantly cut seating requirements in locations where there are food courts or atrium seating. Office building locations often demand less seating because many customers grab lunch and take it back to their office or desk, Stoltz says.
That's true.
Wall Street Deli offers prototypes that fluctuate between 640 and 2,000 square feet. Franchisors are more focused than ever on giving franchisees flexible space options when it comes to managing real estate needs. Satellite locations, kiosks, and smaller store alternatives are just a few of the ideas franchise groups are promoting to boost franchise sales.
Yeah, I've seen. You do see a lot more kiosks today, don't you? I mean, I've noticed in the last year a lot of franchises using the kiosks, in malls and things like that. It is quite interesting. It's a great idea. I mean, again, it shows you the power of franchising. A lot of the franchises now, the 3,000 systems that are out there, a lot of them are thinking outside the box now, and they're trying to come up with creative ways to help their franchisees, because again, it is a partnership, it is a marriage, and they're all in it together. So
yeah, you want to keep expanding, but you want to make sure the franchisee is fine, and as long as you're not really hurting your core business,
exactly.
Why not look to maximize, cutting overhead or the amount of space you need? Because it can help everything in the whole process. I'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of concepts out there, Don, that we've even had on the show, you know what I mean, that they could probably, use this type of strategy for their franchisees, in helping them save money and things like that. So that's interesting. We're going to have to keep our eye on that and see who takes advantage of that. Now, again, it's not for everybody, but for all systems. But
well, here's a couple examples. Gold's Gym is unveiling a new concept in March that will range in size from 8,500 to 12,000 square feet, about one-third the size of a traditional Gold's Gym. Although the typical footprint is 25,000 square feet, some locations can be as large as 60,000 square feet. What we've been seeing over the last 4 years is that our franchisees are more attracted to smaller investment opportunities, says Keith Albright, Senior VP of Franchising for the Texas-based Gold's Gym. The startup cost for traditional locations falls between $2 and $3 million, which covers the real estate, furniture, and equipment. The cost for the smaller 8,500 square foot concept will start at about $500,000. It's a big-time difference.
That is a big difference.
Franchisees will be able to purchase the basic footprint with optional add-ons so that they can customize the gym. We think these concept clubs will each take on their own flavor based on the franchisee's view of the market and what the market needs. For example, a franchisee can configure the gym differently if he or she wants to focus on personal training or group exercise. And it also helps the development cycle of a small location is much quicker, about 60 to 90 days compared to 18 to 24 months for the construction of a larger gym. So you can get into business quicker. Maybe you have more options on leasing space. Mm-hmm. So that's why.
Have you seen this? I mean, have you had experience with it yet? I know in financing, I know you deal with a lot of, the bigger franchises.
No, don't work with Gold's Gym, but do work with franchises
in the other
same
concepts.
industry.
Right. I was just wondering if you actually seen anyone using this concept. It seems so new that I was assuming you probably haven't, but I think it's a great idea though. Right.
Well, we've had Cartridge World on the show, and they've just introduced an innovative new satellite store concept that allows franchisees to operate locations in spaces as small as 500 square feet. The traditional full-service Cartridge World store ranges between 1,200 and 1,600 square feet. A group of the company's master franchisees realized there was no reason they couldn't refill the cartridges in the large store and sell them in a smaller store, effectively reducing fixed costs like labor and rent. Cartridge World launched its new store concept last year. The satellite locations are offered to qualifying franchisees and are located within 20 to 30-minute drive of the primary store.
Wow.
So just an interesting article about, downsizing and really adjusting to the economy and the way things are right now.
Mm-hmm. Thinking outside the box, and we've seen a lot of those great ideas. So
yeah,
absolutely.
Here's something, Marty. CNBC.com. Choice Hotel CEO sees sign of stabilization. And I've been reading a few more articles about this lately, how it seems like the economy, it could somewhat be stabilizing. I mean, it's still obviously in rough shape, but there are some good signs. With more consumers ditching extravagant vacations and taking to the road on good old-fashioned road trips, Choice Hotels International is finding itself in a good spot. It seems like it has stabilized. CEO Steve Joyce says we are sort of in the position now where we're waiting to see if things will improve. Choice franchises value hotel brands such as Comfort Inn, Quality Inn, and Comfort Suites tends to benefit when leisure travelers take to the road. Our typical customer is a drive customer, he says. Our drive locations are holding up better, and we think those trends will continue. Choice saw its business weaken last year after Memorial Day as consumers cut back on travel in response to high gas prices. The slowdown accelerated in October as consumers dug in deeper and cut spending as a recession wore on. But I guess they're seeing an upswing right now.
Right.
And, you're from New Jersey. I live along the Jersey Shore here. People along the shore think it's, could be a pretty good season because maybe more people are just going on some road trips and staying closer to home.
That's true.
Staying at the hotels and B&Bs and everything.
Yeah, no, that's true, yeah.
Let me see. According to Joyce, it is difficult to predict exactly how many consumers will behave for the rest of the summer because their hotels typically don't see many long-range reservations. It said there's about a 2-week lead time. So I guess a lot of people take short trips of just a few days.
Right. Makes sense.
In 2007, when the economy was stronger, fewer people, some 56%, vacationed with family and friends, and 42% went to cities. Although 2 in 5, some 42%, bunked with friends or relatives during these trips, more than half did stay in hotels. So
that's more interesting.
It's interesting
makes sense, yeah. It's funny, we use the word staycation a lot, over the last 7 months. When we began the year, everyone, talking about people, as you say, staying closer to home or, just not going on those big trips, as you were saying,
right.
So,
and the CEO of Hertz says that that they're buying cars, lots of cars, so they're seeing more car rentals and more people driving, and it's got to help the hotels, of course.
Absolutely. Oh, those are good topics. Why don't we do this, Don? Why don't we take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more franchise interviews.
Okay, you've got my attention.
It's a rare event in the world of franchising when an opportunity comes your way that can and will thrive in almost any economic environment. It's here, and its name is Big Mouth Advertising.
Big Mouth.
BMA is a leader in the exciting world of mobile media advertising. Why is mobile media advertising able to defy the economic cycles? The answer is obvious. In times of economic weakness, advertising is crucial for survival as the consumer dollar is scarce and the competition fierce. What is mobile media? It's the newest and fastest growing segment in the advertising world. Mobile media brings the message directly to the consumer. Mobile media goes to the consumer in traffic, where he eats and where he plays. It quite simply cannot be turned off or thrown out. And when you join the Big Mouth team as a franchisee, you are joining the best. The Big Mouth advantage is simple and successful. We invest in a strong infrastructure and in great people. As a franchisee, you have access to this entire system, including telemarketing, sales maximization, general and administrative support, design and creative services, even billing and collection services. All you need is a mobile media vehicle, a driver, and the willingness to create a financially sound and limitless business for yourself. There are no long-term leases to sign, no expensive build-outs, no office personnel to hire. You will be part of the Big Mouth advertising community and share its entire website and reception services, as well as its complete back-office services. This virtual office guarantees you the freedom to close those sales that will make you a success. We are so proud of our successes that we have voluntarily disclosed our revenue statements. Now, how many other franchises are doing that? Even in these historically rough financial times, Big Mouth Advertising has become a dominant force in the mobile media industry. Join the Big Mouth team and take the first step toward financial freedom. Please call Ron at 888-98-GO-BIG. That's 98. Go big. Big now! Need a business loan? Talk to Diamond Financial Services, the experts in franchise financing nationwide. Whether you're looking to start a franchise, acquire an existing franchise, or expand your territory through opening new locations, Diamond Financial stands by your side start to finish. From pre-qualification to packaging and presenting your application to securing a financial commitment and through the loan closing process, Diamond Financial is there. While you're waiting, thousands of others are making their financial dreams come true. Don't wait any longer. Pre-qualify now by completing a confidential, no-obligation financial analysis. Let's face it, traditional banks just aren't in the business of financing small business. At Diamond Financial, we specialize in securing franchise loans from $100,000 to $3 million and equipment leasing up to $150,000. Let us help you get started. Go to www.franchisefunding.net or call 877-508-2274. That's franchisefunding.net, 877-508-2274.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Franchise Interviews, where we're asking the entrepreneur who owns one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott, with my co-host, Don Johnson. And if you've ever dreamed of owning your own business, then you've come to the right place. And as we were saying, Don, we have a great show today. We're meeting with John Randell and Marcy Donnelly of the Jon'Ric International Franchise Opportunity. Hey, John. Hey, Marcy. How you doing?
Great. Thanks.
Good, good. Is it Lisa there, too?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, hey, Lisa. How are you? Thanks for joining us. And on the phone with us is Don Johnson, the president of Diamond Financial. I know, Don, you wanted to say good morning.
Yeah, guys, thanks for coming on. Good morning. Marty and I have been looking forward to having this show, and I've known John for a little while now, so let's have some fun and talk about Jon'Ric and see what it's all about.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Lisa, I thought I would start with you, and you could tell us where you and Marcy are calling from this morning. I know you're in different parts of the United States right now.
Okay, well, actually, I work at Jon'Ric International. I'm the executive director here, and so I'm here just to talk about Jon'Ric with John. Right. And Marcy is our brand new franchisee out in California.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Congratulations on that, Marcy. It's just terrific.
Thank you. It's
we're
exciting.
From Florida. We're in Orlando, Florida.
Oh, there's John. Okay, I didn't how you doing, John?
John and I are here together. And
okay, fantastic. I wasn't sure. I guess, John, I'd like to start with you. What were you doing before starting or joining Jon'Ric International Salon and Day Spas franchise?
Well, I wish I could tell you something more glamorous, but I was actually a instructor and a ski bum before I started, and it was my mother's suggestion. I go to beauty school, and I went to beauty school, and from there I just had a great time, and I was very successful.
Wow.
So that's how it kind of started.
That's interesting. And what about you, Lisa? How'd you get hooked up?
Well, actually, I do have a background in the salon industry as well. I did skincare, nails for a while, and then I also had a business selling aloe vera skin cream for a few years. I traveled around the U.S. and set up at different home shows and women's shows, so I have a pretty, extensive background in this industry. So I love the salon. The beauty industry is a great industry to be in.
That's fantastic.
John, you said you were a ski bum. Is that why you took Jon'Ric International, so you can ski all around the world?
Well, a little bit. It started like that, but it just kind of, being a man or a male in the beauty industry, I was very fortunate. It opened a lot of doors because when women are getting their hair done or they're getting different treatments, they love a man's opinion. And and that's how it just, I was very artsy, I guess, before that. So I just kind of fell into place, and before I knew it, it happened.
That's great.
Yeah, so maybe talk about the history of the company. You started this back in 1983, John. I mean, you've been doing this for a while. I mean, it's really incredible.
27 years we've owned Jon'Ric Internationals, and it started out, within the first year I had built 2 stores, and by the third year I had 8 that I owned myself. And it was just something that we were very fortunate. We had the perfect time. There was, if you remember, John Travolta and the Saturday Night Fever movie had come out, and that's when I got out of beauty school, they call it, and just kept growing from there. I mean, people were asking me by my second year, wow, what a catchy name, is that yours, and is that in French? And so before we knew it, people were asking us to build the spas for them, and so we started licensing the name, and then before we knew it, we were franchising.
And when did franchising start, John? When did what year did that start?
We started franchising about 8 years ago now. We started licensing about 14 years ago. So for the first 10 years, I just owned them all myself. But, one man can only do so much by himself.
Right.
Right. I mean, you're a very creative person. It seems like this is a real, you mentioned you have an artsy type of disposition. So I think, it seems like this industry is perfect to be creative. You've done a lot of tinkering, I guess, over the years. To really get the concept to be excellent.
We're able to adjust to the changing environment of the world. In other words, when haircuts were popular, then massage was popular, and all these different factors, we were able to mold and to move with the terms and the times. We weren't stuck, well, this is our formula and we can't change it. We're constantly changing and evolving, which is the most important part of a franchise. You have to evolve with the times. And that's what Jon'Ric International is all about.
Yeah, and that's interesting. And Marty, us doing this show now in our third year, we've talked about a lot of stories about, even some of your largest names in franchising. They have to do that too. They have to be evolving and change and go with the times. I think that's just business, period. So that's good. You guys have stayed on top of that. So Marcy, what was your background before coming to Jon'Ric?
I'm part of that group that you were speaking about earlier. I had a position at a large bank for 14 years where I managed a team and did large project implementation, and again, I was laid off. I had also owned a small professional organizing business for the last 4 years, but I actually have no experience in the beauty or spa industry other than just being a consumer.
See that, Marty? She's part of that 35 to 40%.
That's right. There you go. That's fantastic.
Yep.
That's interesting. So, Marcy, there's so many franchise opportunities out there. Why did you choose Jon'Ric as your franchise?
Well, I'm a person who does a lot of research, and I spent many, many months working with just a fantastic franchise consultant and just looking for the right industry. And when I finally picked the spa or salon industry, just the Jon'Ric offer was far better than what others were offering. So he had a great franchise fee and royalty program. And just as John was mentioning, his franchise offers a variety of services to choose from, with the flexibility of adding and removing services as the market changes, which I think is critical, as you guys were mentioning, for future growth.
Right.
But most importantly, I just immediately, had a connection with John and his staff, which, again, are incredibly hardworking, and they've just offered me the support that I needed. And he has a great track record, too. I don't know if John wants to talk about that.
John and Lisa, were you happy with that answer?
Yes, definitely.
I can assure you, Marcy is going to be an extremely successful franchisee. She's got what it takes to take the ball and run with it, which she's teaching us things, which is amazing.
That's fantastic. That's interesting. So, John and Lisa, how do you guys describe the Jon'Ric International franchise opportunity to prospective franchisees? When they call in or you meet them at a franchise show and they say, what do you guys do? How do you typically respond?
Well, as Marcy was saying, we're very flexible, and what makes Jon'Ric International so unique is that we have 9 different spa modules that you can choose from. So we have something for everybody's style, personality, and what they want to focus on in their business. For instance, some of our spa modules, we have, of course, the regular salon and day spa, and that's, the relaxing environment of a normal salon. Then we also have the dental spas, which, John, you want to talk about a little bit more dental spas?
We offer, in our medical side, we have dental spas, which is, we were the ones that first branded dental spas 6 years ago. We have chiropractic spas. We have wellness facilities and typical medical spas. And in our medical side, we are classifying them all basically as a wellness facility. So in this environment, wellness is as all the baby boomers start falling apart, we all need these services. And our latest complement to our list of different spas we offer are our fitness and weight loss spa. And then let's say if somebody owns a hotel or a resort, we are extremely popular with destination and resort hotels. And so if we have locations overseas, Dubai, Bahrain, the Middle East, the UK. So these destination spas are also very popular now. You know, we do your typical express spas, kiosks, children's spas, gentlemen's salons, tanning. So with us, it's an ever-changing environment and global sphere because we are Jon'Ric International, and international is very important in this global community we have.
Yeah, I love the flexibility, John, and the fact you can custom design a franchise system to someone's local market or what they're most interested in. That's really unique and interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And as Martha was saying also, she liked the fact of our royalty fees. We have a no percentage royalty fee. We do a flat week royalty fee, which a lot of franchise companies don't do. So that makes us unique.
Right.
And it's very affordable for the person. And
you know, at a fee of $100 a week, every man can afford one. In other words, you don't have to be a multimillionaire to be able to afford a franchise fee of $100 a week. So that really separates us from a lot of them. And we don't have a national advertising budget. We don't have management fees. So it's, you know, you pay your franchise fee and you pay your royalty fee of $100 a week, and you're done. I mean, that's it. There's nothing added.
It's very simple, and having that fixed cost, yeah, I can really see that being a selling point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's no surprises. So.
How has technology, guys, changed the business or helped the business for Jon'Ric? Maybe, John, you could start off talking about that.
Well, you know, technology in the industry has evolved where the old days, like when your grandmother was alive, probably had, you know, these big funky hair dryers and certain ways to do things, and it was only a certain amount of people that went to a beauty shop or a barber shop. Men would typically go to that. And it's evolved into massages and facials and eyebrow threading and waxing and just fitness and weight loss. So, you know, the industry is changing and for the better, I must say, because it's, you know, it's a $50 billion industry, and that's just in the United States. Overseas, it's just in the trillions. So it's an industry that wherever you go, whatever country, somebody needs a service that we provide, and that's a good problem to have. You know what I mean? So.
Also, John, or Lisa, I mean, I know you have some kiosk models that you get set up in the malls and so forth. Maybe talk about that and the advantages. You know, if someone's starting off with one or a few kiosks to get involved with Jon'Ric.
Well, the kiosk program was designed because of the current economic times. We wanted to be able to give someone an opportunity to have a franchise with under $20,000. In other words, if they did a cart, which is the kind you see in the mall, or a kiosk, they range from $5,000 to $15,000. And in these, they can offer, you know, different services, maybe just 5 or 6, cherry pick what they like and what the mall would like to have. And then you can, you know, so you can typically design it. It's like Marcy's in the San Francisco area. What is popular in San Francisco may not be popular in New Jersey, and what's popular in Des Moines, Iowa, may not be popular in Mississippi. Right. So with the kiosk program, they can cherry pick whatever they want to have and service they want to offer in their mall. And being so affordable, I mean, you could almost put it on a credit card. It's so inexpensive. And that's the beauty of the kiosk and the cart program. It's something brand new for this current environment.
I think it was very smart because you're right. And that was an article we talked about in the first segment about certain franchisors coming up with lower investment sizes, take advantage of being in business, the franchise name, but a lower investment size. And then besides the services, you also have some product you sell also on the kiosks, right? I guess that's another revenue stream.
Absolutely. For let's say our weight loss and exercise program, we have DVDs, we have, you know, the bars and the candy and nutritional packages. We have portion control plates. Our the gentleman that started, I don't know if you remember, 8-Minute Abs DVDs in the past. His name is Jamie Brinkus.
Yes.
He actually is part of the Jon'Ric organization now. So we have something that's so, this guy that was a superstar from Kathy Lee Ireland, and all these different videos and 8-Minute Abs and trainers for the stars is now part of what we do. So every one of our existing franchises, including Marcy, gets to take advantage of this incredible experience so you buy a kiosk, and now you've got all these unique opportunities to sell weight loss and health and management. So it's a great blend.
Yes, it's a complete package now.
And I think a misconception about your industry is, hey, this is only something for women to own. But I guess you have a certain amount of male owners, and this is the type of business where you're being the CEO and managing, not necessarily doing some of these services. Guys, maybe talk about that a little bit.
That's an excellent question, Don. You would think that most of our Jon'Rics are owned by women, but they're not. They're owned by men between 40 and 60. Let's say you're a gentleman and you want to buy a franchise. You're not sure if you want donuts or mufflers or dry cleaners.
Yeah.
A spa doesn't initially jump into your head, but I think you'd rather be around happy, beautiful people that smell good than walk around in a restaurant that smells of fried food or something,
Right.
So it's something that a guy's like, you would never think as a guy, well, this is for me, but it really is. Men do extremely well in this industry, extremely well. So that's a great question, but yeah, it's men that own most of the franchises. Women are natural at this. They just know what to do. But being your question was about guys, yeah, that's an audience that that men just seem to really excel in the spa industry.
Is that something that surprised you? Did you go out and recruit men, or they just came and wanted to know more about the opportunity?
It was a total surprise. We have a franchise in Denver, and he's a CPA by trade, and very stuffy, suit tie kind of guy. I was like, why would you want a spa? And he was like, because it's fun. I'm around beautiful people. They're happy. It's an industry that I don't have to, I'm not depressed, and it's not just numbers. I see people, and I use the spa services myself, he said, and I'm a spa guy, and that's great.
And he's doing very good out there. In fact, he's looking at opening up another location right now. So.
And not only that, him being a CPA, I guess he did a rundown of the numbers and sees it's a good opportunity and profitable business. I'm sure that was a big part of it too.
He's another guy like Marcy that is actually teaching us. There are some franchisees. It's like a family. We all bring something to the table, but it's really great when a franchisee says, hey, this is what I'm doing, and it's really pretty good. And it's like Jack and Marcy are just those kind of franchisees that take what we have and even make it better for everybody. So that's the kind of franchisees that make you really smile at the end of the day.
Right.
Actually, in my area, too, in the San Francisco Bay Area, I was tracking some of the folks walking through or walking by my space, and about 30% of them are men. So we really need to tailor our services to maybe introduce spa services to guys that typically, haven't tried them in the past or didn't think a salon or spa was for them.
Interesting.
Well, you mentioned something like eyebrow threading. It's it's not only for women, and dental, medical, wellness, losing weight. Yeah, I could see where a lot of men can use the services too, besides being franchisees.
Well, and a lot of the younger guys too are, we're not going to get a guy that's 70 years old getting a facial, but we will get a guy that is maybe 25 or 35 where his girlfriend will say, you need to clean up your act a little bit, and a facial might help, or a manicure. If you're going to touch me with those ugly nails, get a manicure, buddy. So
that guy must really love her.
Yeah, really.
You guys know have any stats or numbers about how big the industry is?
Oh yeah. We sure do. It's the growth is just incredible. It's it's growing by $12 billion a year. It's just
wow.
It's
Yeah, it's about $12 billion a year right now, but I think the percentage rate it grows is about 25%. I mean, globally, the spa industry itself is a $225 billion a year industry. So.
And that's worldwide? Is that worldwide or just U.S.?
Worldwide, $225 billion.
And there are countries that they can't even check the stats, like China or
and
some other.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. John, Lisa, Marcy, we have to take a quick break. Can you guys stick around for another segment?
Sure.
Oh, we'd love to.
That's fantastic. And we'll be right back with more franchise interviews.
Okay.
Are you one of those special people who are willing to go after your dreams and goals? Are you ready to fulfill that dream of owning your own business with the security of a proven brand? The opportunity to take control of your future and own a Rita's Italian Ice franchise is within your reach.
Rita's is seeking success-oriented individuals who are ready to make a change in their life, and Rita's offers unparalleled training and support to assure your success. And did you know the frozen treat industry is a recession-proof industry, and there are Rita's in 23 states currently with 540 stores open. Rita's Italian Ice has been around for 25 years and is listed as a top-performing franchise by the Wall Street Journal.
Now here's the really good part. Rita's Italian Ice is a unique and amazing taste treat. It's smoother than a snow cone, and it combines ice with real fresh fruit. The real fruit adds dramatically to the taste, and it comes in over 40 flavors. The ice and fruit are mixed on site and made fresh daily, and it is delicious.
You'll want to know more about this exciting and successful franchise opportunity. Go to www.ownaritas.com and get all your questions answered. That's www.ownaritas.com to take control of your dreams and future today. You don't want to wait any longer to be a part of this adventure. www.ownaritas.com. Franchise Interviews. For over 2 years now, Franchise Interviews has been giving you an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship.
Through our website, franchiseinterviews.com, where you can hear and read interviews as well as get tips from some of the most successful sources in franchising.
And our weekly franchise radio show, where each week you get to hear a new interview with franchisors, franchisees, franchise authors, experts, and attorneys.
And our free franchise newsletter, which is a must-read for anyone looking to buy a franchise.
And don't forget to listen to our podcast, Great Quotes in Franchising. For more information, go to franchiseinterviews.com or call us at 610-905-2919.
That's 610-905-2919.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Franchise Interviews, where we're asking the entrepreneur who owns one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott, with my co-host, Don Johnson. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own business, then you've come to the right place. As we were saying earlier, Don, we have a great show today. We're meeting with John Randell, Lisa Savage, and Marcy Donnelly of the Jon'Ric International franchise opportunity. And I think I'm up, Don. John, something I wanted to go back to is characteristics that you look for in your franchisees. Like, what did you see in Marcy that attracted you to her being a franchisee for your system?
Originally, I think, when she first talked to us, she was very, want to know everything. She was very bubbly, and but she was asking real questions that would make a difference for her success in things. So.
Yeah, she's very sharp. That's what we like about her. She's always on the ball. She doesn't miss a thing. And what's great about Marcy, and one of the characteristics that is important in this business, is that you're a people person.
Right.
You have to have an optimistic outlook on life in general. You have to feel comfortable enjoying, interacting with other people, customers and employees of all types. And also you have to be, somewhat independent. Even though you have the franchise company, the support, you have to be moderately independent yourself. And Marcy is definitely very independent.
Right. And plus, she's an early riser. And thanks again, Marcy, for getting up so early to make
That's
the show.
true. Forgot to mention
Hey,
that.
no problem. This is great.
Marcy, the next question is for you, actually. Did you want to talk about the training? Did you want to address that question?
Sure. I've found, again, so far to have great support from the team. For example, regarding training, we were doing site selection for my first locations, and the team didn't just come out and select a site for me. They actually trained me on how to analyze all aspects of a location, like who, the demographics, who's in the area, are people coming to shop or just browse, and then also what to look for in a good space. What I like, too, is John's franchise offers a couple alternatives for management and staff training. So it offers the owner the flexibility to just go to like a basic training at their site or another spa, or if I wanted more comprehensive training, I could go to multiple locations. Just depends on what's needed as an owner.
Important.
And what's a typical day like, Marcy?
Well, so far I am getting very, very close to opening up my first site, so I'm still in the implementation stage of my project. So right now it's just, managing timelines, budgets,
right.
The scope of the services I'm offering. So right now I'm not hands-on in the business yet, but I hope to be open shortly.
Great.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What advice, John, you've been in franchising, been a business owner for many years, we talked about characteristics a little bit, but what advice would you give to an aspiring entrepreneur looking to buy a franchise in general?
Look for a franchise that has been around for 15, 20, 30 years. You can't beat experience, or you can't beat someone that actually has been doing it for so long that they know what they're doing and that they have successful models to pick from now. If some franchisees that are brand new, you don't know, their success record or their track record, and that's, if you're investing your life savings in a business, you need to know that somebody has been doing it for a long time, and they're not just new at it like you are.
Mm-hmm. Right. And ask a lot of questions, like Marcy did. Mm-hmm. Talk to other existing franchisees, visit some of the locations. So that's really important too.
Right, due diligence, something Marty have always stressed on the show over the last few years. You can never do. It's very key to do as much as possible in that area.
Sure. When Marcy first started looking at us, she happened to be in Jacksonville, Florida, and she went to one of our spas there. And she and her husband, Cliff, actually had a couple services done. She talked to the owner. We had dinner. So it was a really not high pressure, just a real laid back, one owner talking to another potential owner kind of a scenario, and which is kind of fun, I think.
Right. So, John and Lisa, what do you do if you're in a particular market and you have franchisees very interested and they want to provide a few services, but you really think for that particular market, you feel that it should be based on a few, different types of services, what they should concentrate on? How do you solve that type of issue?
Well, they all want to be successful, and that's the bottom line. So if we say to them, well, Susie, if you offer unibrow waxing and you're in Miami where it's really not that popular, you probably wouldn't be too successful. We suggest maybe doing tanning or something. The bottom line is if you spell it out and say, this is a dumb idea or it's not going to work, they're not going to say, well, I don't care, I'm going to blow my money anyway. I mean, most people are pretty intelligent that way.
No, we do research in the area. We help them find out what services are best for that area, the price points and everything, and then we put together a package for them, and that's what we suggest for them. And that's, again, goes back to our flexibility in Jon'Ric International, is being able to mold and form each individual location for that person. Right.
And I guess they're investing in the franchise. You're the experts, or they're smart. They're going to listen to what you offer and suggest. And right now, obviously, with so much negativeness with the economy and people nervous to start up, but hey, there's great deals on getting lease space. These are the lowest interest rates with people getting financing. But talk about the leasing a little bit. I guess you're seeing incredible type of deals, John, compared to just 2-3 years ago, right?
Oh, it's incredible the deals we can pull. The old days, malls wouldn't even talk to some people. And now the malls are like, let's cut a deal. Let's do multiple locations.
Right.
The shopping centers are offering TI dollars and tenant improvement dollars and all sorts of incentives, because the bottom line is this is the time we can get great deals done. Banks are willing to work with us, at great rates, and there's a lot of stuff happening, and especially because our initial franchise is, the whole project is so low compared to, let's say, one of our big medical spas. The little kiosk program is like everyone can afford it, and that's the bottom line. Mm-hmm. It's affordable in this economy for everybody.
Right. That's a good point.
John, we have about 1 minute left. What's the best way for our listeners to get more information on becoming a franchisee?
Well, our toll-free number, of course, 888-609-0123, or our email, which is jonric.com, and it's called JONRIC.
That's fantastic. And I want to thank you again, John, Lisa, and Marcy. You guys have been incredible guests, and wish you a happy 4th of July weekend, and we'd love to have you guys back in the near future.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Guys.
Great job. Keep up the good work.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Great
Bye-bye.
show, huh, Don?
Yeah, it goes so quick, doesn't it?
It sure does. I mean, it just flies by, but just interesting concepts, and we have to keep our eyes on them for the next year. I suspect there's going to be lots of growth.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, look at the history they've had. Look at what they're doing. I love the flexibility with the different services. It was a good decision to have the lower investment size with the kiosks.
Yeah, it was a nice segue. It was a nice segue. You were talking about it in segment 1 that usually doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Where
right.
we could segue into segment 2. But
it was all planned. It was all you mentioned I stay up all hours of the night. Hey, this is all the stuff I'm doing.
Well, you do your homework. So yeah. So good job, Don. And next week we have Par Masters Golf Training Center's franchise opportunity. So again, we should have another interesting concept next week. And wish you a happy 4th of July weekend, Don. And,
yeah, same to you, Marty. Great job.
Don't eat too many hot dogs and hamburgers, and and for our listeners, again, go to franchiseinterviews.com, go franchise.com, and franchisefunding.net.
Excellent.
Thanks a lot, Don. Talk to you next week.
Take care.
Thanks, everyone.
Treated John